Good Sunday morning. I'm Farah Jadran. Thanks for starting off your day with us here on King 5. This morning, thousands of people in western Washington are still without power. We're tracking remaining outages. You can see a little more than 4,700 reported here for customers impacted by Puget Sound Energy. This all after steady rain and gusty winds Saturday. Many outages caused by falling trees like this one, bringing down wires and power poles. Others snapping in half and tangling with power lines. This morning, we're hearing from people hit again since last month's bomb cyclone. And south of here, a devastating tornado hits California. Several cars were flipped, trees were uprooted and toppled over. Look how big this tree is right here. We're tracking the damage there and injuries reported so far. Now let's check in with meteorologist Stephen Kilbreth for a look at the forecast. Stephen, are we going to see things calm down a little bit more today?
Yes, we're going to be able to take a breath today. Much calmer than it was yesterday, no question about that, as we're going to see a few rain showers throughout the day. Nothing much in the way of that, and some clouds as well. And even some sunbreaks are coming up a little bit later on, too. Here's a shot from our rooftop camera, taking a look over at T-Mobile Park with Enchant there and Lumen Field, where the Seahawks will play later on this evening right here on King 5. Current temperatures around the region, 42 in Tacoma, 38 in Bremerton, 39 in Seattle. And what you may notice, it's a lot cooler than it was yesterday at this time. In fact, 9 degrees cooler in Seattle, 11 degrees cooler in Port Townsend, 7 degrees cooler in Port Angeles. So, like we mentioned, a lot cooler than it was yesterday at this time, especially if you're stepping outside anytime soon. Monroe, 45 degrees is where you'll top out at today, with some sun breaks a little bit later on. No showers there. And in Renton, you'll see some sun breaks and a high of 48 today. We'll have all the details of when the rain is returning, which it will later on in the actually in the evening and into tomorrow. All those details for you in just a few minutes.
Stephen, thanks. We have Tree West right after the Seahawks game on King 5 News at 10 and 11. So a lot more to come this morning. Stephen's going to be tracking your forecast. I'll have your top stories after the break. Good morning. I'm Farah Jadran. Thanks for starting off your Sunday with us here on King 5. This morning, thousands of people in western Washington are still without power. This is the Puget Sound Energy map with a little more than 4,600 people still without power. We're still tracking these outages after steady rain and gusty winds Saturday. Now, many outages were caused by falling trees like this one, bringing down power lines and poles. Others snapping in half and then tangling with those power lines. This morning, we're hearing from people hit again since last month's bomb cyclone. And then south of here, a devastating tornado hits California. You can see several cars were flipped due to the high winds, and then huge trees like this one just taken up by the roots and toppled over. We're tracking the damage there and the injuries reported so far. And now we want to give you a live look to Westport this morning on Washington's coastline. You can see the waves are pretty busy, but nothing like yesterday when we just saw them crashing right over the break wall. The king tides are going to continue tonight, but they're going to taper off when you get inland. We were seeing some choppy waters on Lake Washington and Lake Union yesterday. This is Maidenbower Park in Bellevue. Our photojournalist Andrea Escatini giving us this look of a much more calm Lake Washington. Let's check in with Stephen Kilbreth in for Ashley Ruiz this morning. We're just kind of looking for something more calm today as we take a look here as the Westport camera gives us a little 360. One of my favorite places to go, Stephen, but definitely not a day like yesterday.
Yeah, sure. And a beautiful sunrise there behind you, too, in Westport. But
players. All right, we're going to have a much better forecast for folks heading out to the game. We typically start to see 12s around this time if it's a midday game, but it's a little bit later.
Right.
I'm sure we'll start seeing folks maybe tailgating in a little bit. They have decent weather for that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's chilly, right? So it's going to be a little bit better than it was yesterday. That's for sure.
Less windy
and not as many showers. In fact, by the time we get to the kickoff time, it's going to be dry. In fact, seeing some sun right now outside here over at what do you call this neighborhood now? Soto?
This
is it still Soto?
And this is the King 5 studio. T-Mobile Park's across the street.
Right. Yeah, I just wondered if they still, because like people don't understand Soto means south of the dome, right? Isn't that where that came from?
Yeah, so it's still
But there's
Soto.
no dome anymore.
No, but I think it's still called Soto.
I think it is, yeah.
It is.
But anyway, sun is shining here. We'll take this conversation somewhere else at some point. But,
later.
But take a look at the extended forecast. So a few showers, partly sunny skies today, increasing rain tomorrow. In fact, it's going to be a very wet commute for you tomorrow morning. So make sure you're tuned in tomorrow morning. morning to check all of that with Shantae with traffic, and you know, your guy Stephen Kilbreth doing the weather tomorrow morning.
You'll be here tomorrow morning too? All right, lovely. Well, I'll be reporting tomorrow.
There you go.
We'll see where I end up. All right, let's get outside for another live look at Lumen. Go Hawks! We've got kickoff at 5:20 right here on King 5. Have a positive day. Make it great.
Continue watching free on the King 5 Plus app, everywhere you stream.